Good day, everyone. I'm Jerome Kiley. I'm going to be your lecturer next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, for organization and people management. Okay, so what do I need to say to you about it? My background, I'm a lecturer at CPUT in the Human Resource Management Department. But I've also done quite a bit of work with UJ, Open University in the UK, University of Western Cape. I ran a number of their programs, etc. I've also written a few books on personnel psychology, industrial psychology, business management, and a few things along that line. Anyhow, I'm just dropping this video in to say hello, give you an idea who I am, and just to give you a little bit of warning about what we'll be doing next week. Most of the stuff, guys, if you do get a chance to look through the readings, great. If you don't, not the end of the world. I've posted everything under content at the moment. There's the readings that I'll be using as well as the videos. And some of the case study information. So you can go have a look at that. You're welcome. I also understand some of you will not necessarily be present during the second half of the class because the course has been extended. Also not the end of the world. We will record everything as we go along. I realize this time is very stressful for everyone, guys, myself included. This is a totally unprecedented situation. I don't think anyone could have predicted what happened now. If you just look at what's happening on social media and the conflicting arguments around the lockdown and around the spread of COVID and misinformation and valid information that is invalidated a few days or a few weeks later, etc. It's quite a scary time. So I do understand that you're also going through a difficult time at the moment, and I think we need to respect that in everyone, and we need to understand that everyone is struggling in some degree, whether you are sitting at home, don't know about your future, unsure of where you're going, whether you are an essential service employee. A lot of things, the uncertainty is just dramatic. So it's a very important issue when it comes to the management of your people within the organization, because we are in unprecedented times now in terms of how we manage people in our organizations. Organization structures are unprecedented. They're not planned for, just as this course had to be altered, or what would the term be? I'm a lecturer and I get stuck on terms. The course had to be adapted at fairly short notice, and what you're doing at the moment is completely unprecedented in your studies to date. Well, I'm assuming as such, is just talks to the whole issue of how different the world is that we live in at the moment. Okay, the things that we'll be looking at, I'll start off with just a little intro into human resource management, guys, and then we're going to be looking at managing organizational needs and people, and it's a very fluid topic at the moment, but keeping people in the organization, but also looking at the psychological contract, our expectations of the organization, creating a best workplace, which, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure what it is anymore. Especially with all the remote working, etc. And it's not necessary, guys. We expect to go back to normal, but the futurists and people who know seem to suggest very differently, guys. The world is not going back to the place that we expected it to before. Our organizations are going to be different. The economy is going to be different. So we're going to have to look at what is this best workplace under the current circumstances. We're going to also look at Hoffman's Kasnacha and Ye's concept of tours of duty, and that workplaces are becoming more fluid, our employment is becoming more temporary. We'll touch on that and see also how you find the validity of those concepts within the South African context. And we'll end it off with Shine's career anchors, which you may or may not have done in the past, but Shine's career anchors tells you what you value in your work situation and what's important to you. And it's not about the type of job that you want as much as the type of organization that you want to find yourself in. You may find interesting at the end of the day a little bit of insight that may fit again with your first module where you looked at your personality, etc. Then we're going to be looking at leadership and culture, guys, creating high-performance cultures, and how do you create best performing cultures within organizations. Guys, we're going to look at what is a high-performance culture, what is important, measuring outcomes as opposed to measuring time at work, where you report, etc., which is going to be increasingly important within our fluid work situations at the moment. So we'll do a case study there. We'll look at Siemens, which is one of the largest organizations on earth, and we're going to be looking at how Siemens has endeavored to create a high-performance culture. But you'll also discover that not everything they do is perfect. No organization, whatever they do, is perfect. So, nothing is perfect, and we'll look at taking the best from their organization at the end of the day. Then, guys, we'll be looking at motivation and performance management, guys. Motivation is a field that I'm particularly interested in. I've written quite a bit on motivation. I've looked at what drives people and different theories of motivation. But what is particularly interesting for me here is linking that to performance management and our understandings of performance management and what is performance and what are the important things that we should measure at the end of the day, which links back to the culture as well. Okay, then guys, we will be looking at, in relation to that, how performance management has changed, getting beyond money with performance management, and how to keep your team motivated remotely, guys. I think that is one of the most challenging issues. Just again, anecdotal evidence, there's articles being published about how much Zoom meetings tire us out. You guys have been on Microsoft Teams now. When I chat to you, you will have been on, this will be your second week of your second module, and you may likely be feeling exhausted. It's quite stressful, quite difficult working remotely. You don't really able to measure people's emotions. It's often not face to face, so you can't see what's going on. It's a two-dimensional view. You're looking at my view behind me rather. You'll see my books. There's some indications of things that interest me personally. You may see there's lots of quite a good collection of books. There's a whole lot of trinkets behind me that I've collected in my travels, which I greatly enjoy doing. But you may also notice there's a couple of Star Wars figures up there, probably because I haven't grown up quite as much as I should have. But it gives an indication of me. Okay, well, you might also notice that there's a whole lot of wine over there, and you can come to your own conclusions about that. But again, they may be correct or they may be incorrect conclusions. The point is you've got limited information on a face-to-face interaction. and it creates more tension, more stress, more anxiety. So we're going to be looking at how do you manage people in remote locations, understanding people better within those locations, and how can we assist people? Guys, also the reality is when we work in a fixed location, guys, when you go to office, we all have the same resources, we have the same environment, etc. But the reality is also environments differ dramatically. So it has a huge impact. So we'll look at all of those factors around it. Anyhow, guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. If you need to contact me, my contact details are up on the Vula website, so you're welcome to drop me a mail if you want to chat about something. But I will see you next week in class or in the virtual class. Thank you. Cheers.